Good evening, and welcome to the first ever broadcast of the Weekly News Radio podcast, also known as WNRP. I'm your host, David Collins, and on behalf of the entire team, I thank you for joining us. Our top stories tonight: a major change to our solar system, a psychic detective helps catch a serial rapist, a new religion out of Silverlake, California, and a look at the first ever Death and Heavy Metal Award show. All of this and more on Weekly News Radio. Tired of all the jokes, NASA has decided that Uranus is no longer a planet. The announcement was made Monday morning by NASA spokesman Jack Connor after the U.S. Space Agency received mass complaints by teachers across the country.
We've learned through the dwarf planet Pluto that changing the category of a planet is not only possible, but in some cases a necessity.
Miss Sheila Albertson, an 8th grade science teacher in Fresno, California, had this to say.
I'm sick and tired of all the giggling and smirking every time I mention Uranus. It's bad enough I also have to mention that Uranus is a gas giant.
NASA spokesman Connor went on to say,
We at NASA feel that changing Uranus will give the space program the respect it deserves, and the respect we need to continue with our work. It'll become increasingly more difficult for us to do our job if no one takes us seriously. And so, we feel that the best course of action now is to wipe Uranus clean.
NASA has also made the exciting announcement on the discovery of a new planet in our solar system. An Earth-sized, pinkish-colored planet approximately 10 billion kilometers away from Earth, which astronomers have named Mygina. During a recent press conference, Connor said this about the new planet, quote, "We don't know much about this mysterious planet, but what we have discovered is pretty incredible. We've been observing Mygina for a couple of months now, and the planet's characteristics are astonishing. We're hoping this new discovery will add some dignity to the space program." Connor didn't give many details on the recently discovered Mygina, other than the fact that the planet is only volcanically active 1 week out of each month. Psychic detective Thaddeus Jenkins helped local PD catch a serial rapist who was terrorizing a small community. Jenkins first discovered his powers when he predicted the failure of his brother's marriage.
I had a dream about my brother and his wife divorcing because she cheated on him with me. Sure enough, I ended up convincing her to sleep with me the very next day.
Jenkins then told his brother immediately afterward.
My dream came true, and I realized I had psychic powers.
Thaddeus Jenkins then decided to use his powers for good and volunteered to help local authorities. His most recent accomplishment was leading the police straight to the man responsible for over a dozen cases of sexual assault throughout the county.
I simply had a vision, and I knew exactly who the man was.
That man was psychic detective Thaddeus Jenkins, who is currently serving 35 years in prison on rape charges. Silverlake, California, a small community in Los Angeles known for its large lake, an even larger population of hipsters. Now it's home to a new religion. Resident Jonathan Davis decided to start a new religion after watching his favorite Broadway musical, The Book of Mormon, written by South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Our reporter Nigel Olson met up with Jonathan.
I really love the religion Trey and Matt created for the play. It's so funny and original. I decided to start a church based on that religion as a way to, stand out and break away from the conforming religions.
So it's sort of like another Pastafarian church?
Yeah.
How much of your new religion have you made so far?
Well, I'm almost done with the Bible, and I just signed a lease on an old Baptist church nearby, where we can, pray, do worship, hang out, maybe have a party or something.
Seems rather expensive.
Oh, it's okay. My dad's, super rich and stuff.
I see. And does it trouble you at all that the musical The Book of Mormon is actually based on a religion that already exists called Mormonism, which has been around since the 1800s? In music news, the first ever Death and Heavy Metal Awards took place last night at the Nokia Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Thousands of fans from all around gathered to catch a glimpse of their favorite death metal bands walk down the black carpet. Many popular groups were in attendance, including Darkness, Music of Death, Sound of Death, Heroin Overdose, and the chart-topping band Your Cancer Results Came Back Positive. Our entertainment reporter, Shaine Moore, was there and managed to talk to Best Album nominee, Pool of Death.
Well, I'm here with Pool of Death. Boys, are you excited to possibly win the award for Best Album?
We're not Pool of Death anymore.
Oh no?
No. We used to be Pool of Death. Then we changed it to Lake of Death. Then Gulf of Death. And now we're Death down by the mangrove swamp.
Ooh, okay.
Also in attendance were gallium, mercury, thallium, copper, and lead, who thought the ceremony was for heavy metals. For those who couldn't watch the televised event, the results have been posted on their website. In other music news, the 27th annual Great Dermot's Blues Festival takes place this Saturday at Tear Springs Park in Great Dermot's, Oregon. Many popular blues artists will be performing at the Blues Festival, including Guitar Jones, Guitar Jones Jr., Guitar Jones III, and of course, Jones who plays guitar. Headlining the event for their first time is Mississippi blues band 800 Pounds of Blues, who, tragically, have recently lost their drummer due to a fatal typing accident, and are now performing as 618 Pounds of Blues. And now, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hey kids, do you like Build-A-Bear? Do you like bubbles? Then you'll love the all-new Build-A-Bubble Workshop. At Build-A-Bubble Workshop, you get to build your very own custom bubble.
I want a blue bubble. I want a big bubble.
With our patented super secret bubble building technology developed by the government, you get to build whatever kind of bubble you want. Okay, kids, let's go take our custom bubbles to the counter so we can bring them home.
That'll be $49.95.
Build-A-Bubble Workshop.
That's the only sponsor we have? Alright. And now we take you over to Shaine Moore to take a look at the arts and entertainment for a segment we call Entertainment This Afternoon.
Okay, so the first episode of Entertainment This Afternoon, we're gonna go ahead and take a look there at another thing to come out of Silverlake, Canada.
What's that?
Oh, California. I'm sorry, I thought the CA meant Canada. Sorry about that, it's my first time on radio. Anyway, we have a recording here from a band called Silverlake Panic. And this is a section of their rendition of the song made famous by that Simon and Garfunkle group, The Sound of Silence. Roll it. Okay, that was Silverlake Panic's rendition of The Sound of Silence. Quite literally. Back to you there, David.
That was Shaine Moore with Entertainment This Afternoon. This segment will be recurring in future broadcasts, where we will bring you clips from popular bands, comedians, poets, and storytellers. And now, something quite special for us here at WNRP. We managed to scrape together enough funds to actually rent a helicopter as to bring you live traffic updates for Los Angeles. So now, here's Chris Adams with the current traffic report. Chris?
Yeah, hey David, how's it going?
Just fine, Chris. How's the helicopter ride?
Yeah, about that. Traffic got kind of bad. and I wasn't able to get to the airfield in time, so I kind of missed our slot.
I see.
Yeah, so can't really tell you a whole lot about the traffic. I can say that the 5 northbound near Las Feliz is pretty backed up, but I don't really know for how far. Looks pretty far from here. Watch it!
How much was the deposit on the helicopter rental? See if we can get it back. We now go over to a segment we call Critics Corner with Hank Reed.
Hello, and welcome to Critics Corner. I'm Hank Reed. In this portion of the show, I'll be giving my opinion on popular movies, television, music, and whatever else my grandson David makes me endure. I never in my life imagined that at 79 I'd have to watch garbage for a living, but unfortunately my social security checks don't cover the cost of the amount of booze I need to continue living. First up, we have a film based on the DC Comics, a movie called Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. I have a question. Isn't Superman pretty much indestructible? And isn't Batman just a normal guy with just a lot of money but no superpowers? Well then, this film should have only been 5 minutes long. Superman beats the bejesus out of Batman. Boom. Story over. Instead, it's 3 goddamn hours of Batman whining. Next, we have a show on Netflix called Dark Tourist. I saw a couple episodes of this show, and it seems like it's nothing more than a Kiwi standing in a bunch of highly radiated areas. Yeah, smart move there. Enjoy cancer, asshole. I hope the show is worth it. And finally, a film I missed when it first came out, and that I wish I still missed today. It's a movie called The Happening, or as I like to call it, Nothing's Happening. This is a movie where a guy who is in a constant state of worry and confusion is with a group of people being chased around by wind. So it's no wonder he's confused the whole time. It's my understanding that the man who made this film puts a twist at the end of all of his movies. The twist in this film is that you realize you've wasted an hour and a half of your life. Back to you, David.
Finally, we present to you our last segment for this evening, a short list of quick headlines we call How About a Quickie? The retired ocean liner turned hotel The Queen Mary recently announced that later this year they are to commemorate the 46th anniversary of the film The Poseidon Adventure by flipping the ship upside down with guests still on board. A new corporate rule at Whole Foods goes into effect today, stating all male employees must now have a beard and man bun at all times. After disappearing from the limelight for several months, it's been discovered that artist Nicki Minaj has been at Goblin Town, made famous by J.R.R. Tolkien's novel, The Hobbit. Sources say she's been serving as the newest Goblin Queen. And finally, a recent study shows that even though the chain has been around for over 25 years, most people over 45 still can't pronounce Chipotle correctly. On behalf of the entire team, I wish to say thank you to all of our listeners. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to send, you can contact us via email at contactwnrnpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Weekly News Radio and on Twitter at username @Weekly News Radio. Be sure to tune in next time for more headlines from around the world. Thank you again for listening to the Weekly News Radio podcast. I'm David Collins. Good night.